A very good afternoon, evening, morning, depends where you right now are. It's in the Netherlands. It's almost 6 o'clock. It's actually evening. So when it's dark, it's evening. That's what my parents told me. So guys, how are we doing? We had yesterday a crash. It was actually expected if you have seen our Bitcoin reports. This is not unexpected. Support level was touched multiple times. We formed lower highs. Yeah, and we broke support. But what now? Well, I know for a fact that a lot of people they lost money. Unfortunately, lots of people they don't know what to do. Unfortunately, however, I think there is still a lot of hope. But today I want to talk first about mindset and then money. So, what I always say, guys, and this is something you need to remember, I have a rule. And that's this: protect your mental capital, otherwise, you will lose your financial capital. So, it's your mental capital first and then your financial capital because those two are correlated with each other. You need to understand this. Before I go to continue, today we're going to talk about sentiment. We're going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about liquidity and relationship between liquidity and sentiment. Maybe some charting. And I want you to think about your biggest trading regret of this year. I know this year is pretty fresh. We had 6 days. We all have made mistakes. I'm pretty sure about that. Think about it. Meanwhile, this is a message of our partners, CryptoCom. So, CryptoCom, this video has been sponsored by CryptoCom. It's the only single exchange that allows you to trade 200 plus pairs, get access to 40 quarterly futures and perpetual contracts, purchase newly listed tokens at up to 50%. You can find more information in the link below. And by the way, you can also get $50 USDT worth of CRO when you sign up with our link. Just check the description, you'll find there the link. So, guys, you have made mistakes, I have made mistakes. Share me your mistakes here in the chat. I want to talk about them. Yeah, so I think Fed announced something. Well, it's actually not a new announcement, they just reconfirmed things. We have seen multiple different markets tanking, like the Dow Jones Index, S&P 500, and also, of course, cryptocurrency, because big players in these markets are also active in crypto. And the beautiful thing of crypto, especially Bitcoin, is and there's also maybe a curse. It's so liquid. You can easily sell or easily buy, easily sell, and you're out of your positions. And the same doesn't go for stocks. It takes more time, and it's not 24/7. It's way different than crypto, of course. So yeah, see liquidity as a curse and also as a blessing. Before I'm going to continue, there are a few things I want to highlight. One, I always say this. Look, I'm an NLP coach. I love to talk about mindset. I love to talk about positive psychology. I have a background in positive psychology. I'm a master NLP coach. I do this for a while now. It gives me a lot of energy because it enables me to help people, and servitude is one of my core values. So I'm here to help you. However, just listening to me, listening to anyone else, it doesn't help you a lot. I mean, being present here is 50% of success. So the remaining part of the success is being proactive. So you need to be proactive. You want to see yourself being proactive. So listen to this live stream, ask as much as you want, but at the end of this live stream, there's one thing you want to work on, or one thing you want to think about, or one thing you want to consider, because this will lead to action. Action leads to progress. Progress is happiness. So change, and change always starts with you. Just a few facts I like to talk about them. It's one, what you got here won't get you there. if you've made a lot of money 2000 in last year, it's not a guarantee that you will make money this year, because environments are changing and you need to adapt. I always say, like, if you're working somewhere, you're a senior associate, you want to become a manager, you need to do things differently to become this manager. It's easy as that. It's also with trading. We need to adapt. Environment is changing. And I think soon we will reach a time, a era that understanding TA is not enough to be profitable in trading. You need to think differently. You need to interpret data differently. Um, and what I find actually pretty awful is a lot of guys, they don't have a vision of themselves. And if you don't have a vision, well, you'll be left with a vision of your past, meaning you will make the same mistakes. So have a vision, otherwise you will perish, guys. And I hope that I have triggered some of you. And I mean this. You need to have a vision, otherwise you will perish. You need to have some vision, literally a vision of yourself, seeing how you trade, seeing yourself, how you behave in the best possible way. And also when it comes to trading, seeing yourself practicing good trading behavior. Good trading behavior could be anything, right? It's journaling, it's waking up, not checking your phone first, but doing other stuff that helps your mental state. Or it could be respecting your stop loss, respecting risk management, not opening a trade if you have a lot of mixed signals. It's also a vision you can have about yourself in relationship to trading. I have some slides. I'm not gonna talk all about all of them, but I want to talk about fear. So tell me, guys, what do you think? Is fear something that's natured or nurtured? I think we have a lot of bright people. I mean, we have 120 people here in the chat. So tell me in the chat. Seeing, by the way, all of your chats, I cannot reply on all of them, but if you have really, really important question, significant question, repeat it, and then I see it again. Well, yeah, it's nurtured and it's natured. So there are actually three types of fear that's ingrained, that's nature. It's like it comes from nature. It's one, loud noises, the fear of falling, and also the fear of being rejected. Nurtured is all of the other fears you have learned during your life. Could be anything. Could be a fear of spiders, lions. It could be a fear of a car, or your, I don't know, one of your neighbors. I don't hope that for you, but you got my point. We have some fear that comes really from ourselves, from nature, and most of them are nurtured. So we also afraid for rejections. But there's one thing, like one entity, and they constantly rejecting us, and especially our ideas and the thesis, and that's the market. And that's the big thing, guys. Most traders, especially new traders, but also experienced traders, we all have the ego. I don't buy that BS that we can kill our ego. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's healthy, and I think it's just stupid to think that you can kill your ego. You can manage, you can educate, you can um, um, regulate your ego. You can live in like you can recalibrate your ego, but there's no such thing as killing your ego. There's always a ego inside of you. And what our ego doesn't like is that we are getting rejected. And in this market, in trading, it doesn't matter if you trade futures, if you trade crypto, if you trade S&P 500 or stocks, you will get rejected. Not one time, even multiple times. But I do believe in a top-down mechanism. So if you understand this, it's easier to cope with it. Sometimes you just need 2-3 trades and they easily outperform 7 losing trades. But we don't look to that this way. We look at more from a negative bias way. So negativity bias means that we give more weight, more significance to negative events than positive events. And I think this is pretty interesting and pretty important to understand this. So what we're seeing now, and this is not a picture of this current Fear and greed index. I don't think you should rely 100% on fear and greed index. It gives you some information. And, for me, this signals there's a lot of fear. A lot of fear. So our amygdala, you have two of them, they get triggered. So they can do different things, your amygdala. They will condition your body to fight, to flight, or to freeze. So what I see most people are doing now, they're freezing. They don't know what to do. So if you go back to this fear and greed index, what you also should understand, and I was also trying to explain this in some tweets, but I think I'm more able to explain this in this live stream, is you need to understand there is a relationship between sentiment and liquidity. So with liquidity, I mean um, the people who are selling actually. So if you see that the sentiment is high, so you see this fear and greed index, for example, and it goes up, 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 it goes to 80, 90, 70%, it means that the liquidity is low, meaning there are not a lot of people want to sell a certain asset. So it actually tells you a lot of people, they are trying to be part of a certain trend up, right? The other way is also true. If price tanks, if something tanks, and we've seen this crash, this Bitcoin crash yesterday, is there is not much liquidity, so people are selling. They are not buying. Like people are selling. Nobody wants to buy when the sentiment is low. However, most of the opportunities you will find is when sentiment is low and liquidity is high. If this makes sense, I'm not telling you to buy now. That would be stupid unless you have a system or a proven system that tells you to buy now. My system tells me wait for more confirmation and then buy. And I think there's a high probability that I will open some positions maybe later today in the evening or tomorrow or this week. Still waiting for some confirmation. But you need to understand this. When there's a lot of fear, there's not like there's high liquidity actually. And when there's low liquidity, sentiment is high. And understand this inverse correlation and try to use this as well in trading, because people, they are not used to buy blood. They rather prefer to buy stuff more expensive because they think it's mainly because of what we call recency bias. So when we see things going down, we tend to think that it will keep going down. When stuff are going up like Bitcoin or gold or whatever, then your brain actually is telling you that it gives more significance to the most recent data. So that's why they call this recency bias. So you don't want to buy or sell because of that. Do you guys understand this? What I just explained, the recency bias and the sentiment thing. So there's like one thing about beliefs, guys. Thank you for sharing this. So someone said, I suck at trading, but a master holder. Yes, I don't think there's something wrong with holding. Um, Only if you have a plan, holding is good, and you can even add to your holdings, and you can hodl for a while. But you need to have a time and especially a time, a time-based goal. Like when do you want to get out? And also a money based goal, like when are you going to take profit? You just don't hodl to hodl, you hodl for a reason. And if you want to trade and you start with a premise, with the belief that you suck in trading, then you already lost the trading game, period. Trading is all about cultivating the right beliefs that can empower you, that can help you. So if you say, I'm bad in taking profit, I'm bad in risk management, I'm bad in TA, I'm bad in this and thus and this, these beliefs are not going to help you. So you need to reframe them, because this inner self talk is something you repeat to yourself, or maybe out loud, or even in chat. And the more you repeat them, the more they will become a what? A belief. So a belief always starts with a thought, and we have this Hebbian learning. Brain cells that fire together, they fire together, they wire together, and then you create this neural pathway in your brain, and that tells you actually, I suck in trading. And it's really hard then to override that pathway unless you create a different belief that overrides that pathway, or you reframe your current beliefs into something that can help you. So I hope that you guys understand this about your beliefs. They are really important. They are powerful. I mean, your destiny is actually based on your beliefs. I don't mean really religious beliefs, but the beliefs you hold towards yourself and the environment. Um, yeah. So, guys, if there are questions, tell me if you have a question. So, fear is important, and fear is also a how we call it again, a survival mechanism. It helps us to survive, but our brain is not wired in such a way to trade actually. So that's why you need to learn trading. Nobody was born as a good trader. It's like you need to read books. That's one, because it tells you, it shows that you're taking this serious. You can take a coach or a mentor. I think this is a really good way to increase your um, trading skills. And then you need to practice a lot, because only having a coach doesn't help. Actually, I think the best way is one, reading books, trying things out for yourself, and if you can afford it, um, having a coach, and then practice, 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 and practice. Repetition is the mother of all skill. Yeah, so I might share some setups, but please don't spam. I don't like spams. One time is enough. So there are some things that can kill your motivation to trade. Um, this case, what has killed the motivation for most people to trade is loss aversion and a strong fear for losses. They're afraid to lose more money. So loss aversion is actually that we don't like to lose things, obviously. And when we lose money, for example, in a trade, a losing trade has 3 times more weight than a winning trade. So psychologically, you need, if you lost one trade, you need psychologically you need three trades to compensate that pain, if it makes sense. Yeah. So um loss state of is actually a state of being without. We don't like that, and it comes along with grief, which is also an emotional state. So if you're in a highly aroused emotional state, it's difficult to think clearly. So you like if you take actions based that's coming from this emotional state, you will make more mistakes. So I'm gonna come back to this question about the books. You need to recalibrate yourself. So CD Fight, she's actually our clinical psychologist, um, came up with this health process, how to heal yourself actually from a loss. And this is not psychology, and I think this is different. And I need your attention right now, guys. First, what doesn't help, you need to think first in things that doesn't help you, is blaming other people, blaming too much yourself. I don't think that's a good thing. And beating yourself up. I'm a big fan of and a promoter of self-compassion. So don't be too hard on yourself if you have lost money, because if you do so and you're blaming yourself too much, I'm a loser, I'm a sucker, I lost money, I can't do anything right, these thoughts won't help you. Matter of fact is they will add even more pressure on your shoulder. You don't want this. You want to first practice self-compassion, and maybe this is maybe woo woo wow wow for some people, or this is a little bit soft. Believe me, self-compassion can change the way you see things. One, then you go to to try to accept reality. And you don't do this by just lip service or writing it down. It really should come from inside, and you should take time, you enough time, um, to fully recognizing and accepting your losses, and then you can give yourself permission to feel. So as a mindset trader and as an NLP coach, master NLP coach, what I've seen is people, they don't give themselves the time or the permission to feel how they feel. So what they do is they suppressing the feelings. So you're maybe in a loss. Who is in a loss, for example? Who is in a loss now? Or who has lost money? So most of the people, like when they lost money, when they losing money, they feel bad. So what I do is they're trying to suppress these emotions, and I don't think this is a healthy way of processing emotions. An emotion is there to tell you something. Imagine you're in a swimming pool. You have one big basketball, or wait, you have two. You're trying to hold them underwater. And then I give you a third one. So what's going to happen with these basketballs? They will pop up from the swimming pool. These are actually your emotions. Don't trying to suppress them by holding them down. You actually should allow these emotions without identifying yourself too much with it. That's the only way how you go to the next level, and that's actually sharing your feelings and your thoughts and and then you can learn from your lessons. What I've seen, and this is terrible actually, is people, they're losing money. They are not accepting the reality only by lip service. They don't give themselves permission to feel. Fact is, they're actually suppressing it. They don't share because they're in a shame, and they trying to learn from it from a highly emotional state, and that is not the best way you can learn. You can only learn when you're more calmed down, when you're more relaxed. That's the way, that's the ideal way you can learn. So I hope you guys, you can screenshot this. You can also find this on our website. We have infographics, and I think this will help you a lot. So what you could do is, like, you could also write, I did this a while ago. I made a screenshot of it. I mean, a picture of it. It's like my lessons learned, and just like write them down and think about them, but only when you're in a state of calmness, not in a state of stress or regret, because this regret and this stress, it will distort your view and your way of thinking. Um, Let me check. Yeah. So, can you recommend good books? So, there are a few good books. When it comes to trading, CMT, Chartered Market Technician, one of the best books. I'm doing this exam. I did the exam last year. It's pretty expensive. The book is around $200, $300. If you want to do the exam, you need to pay an additional $800. But you can maybe find it secondhand. Chartered Market Technician. Then you have Market Wizard. It's also a good book. And I recently uh, purchased another trading psychology book, and the name of the book is Market Mind Games. Market Mind Games. Market Mind Games. It's from Denise Schull, and the way she thinks about emotions and emotional regulation, and trading is basically the same way how I'm thinking from a NLP and a positive psychology point of view. So that's a good book. But also Trading in the Zone. It's maybe a little bit old school, but also really beneficial. Also really good book. I'm glad that you asked about books, but now you know the titles. Buy at least one. Buy at least one and read them from cover to cover. Make notes, and find out how this can help you in your trading performance. Because just reading is not enough. You need to apply, right? You need to apply. But thank you for the question. I like these questions. I like when people are hungry for knowledge. So, guys, commit to take action. One, and I'm going to repeat this: self compassion. Don't beat yourself up. Accept the reality. Make sure you allow yourself to feel how you feel without identifying too much with the emotion. For example, angry. It's like you feel angry. You're not angry. Don't say I am angry, because that suggests that you as an entity, you as a body, you as a subconscious mind, you as an individual are angry. Then you're actually identifying yourself with an emotion. And then it's hard to detach it. to detach from it. Just say, I feel emotion. This is a reframing. So what we do all the time in NLP, but it works a lot. Then you have accepting losses. You can only accept losses when first came self-compassion, and then accepting losses by truly accepting the losses, um, as much as possible. Maybe it takes a long time. I'm not telling you that you need to recover from it, accept it 100%, and then continue with trading. But at least like the majority, let's say 70, 80%. Like if it feels this way, that you have accepted the losses for 80% or 70%, move on. Have this principle for yourself. I cannot tell you when you fully have accepted the losses. It's only you who can tell that. But have some principles in that, and act according on these principles. And it's good to regulate your emotions. And I just gave you a tip how to regulate emotions. It's like, let them come and let them go. Because if you're trying to suppress them, they will come back stronger. If you want to let them go, you need to let them in. It's easy as that. I often talk about journaling, but I won't talk about journaling now. I want to say one thing, and it's one of the last things I'm going to tell you guys, because my wife, we were eating actually. She prepared some dinner, so I want to sit with them, and having a good dinner with them. Is shift your focus, guys, from your P&L to the process. And I want to talk about that for just a few seconds, and then I want to share some charts quickly. What I've seen is like people, like, when you're putting a lot of shoulders on your, a lot of pressure on your shoulders, is when you're focusing too much your P&L, and you're comparing your P&L with your all-time high or with other people's P&L. And that is bad. I think it's good to have outcome goals. So it's good to start a year, or in the middle of the year, or I don't know, somewhere in the year, to have like this outcome goal. Like, I have a training capital of 100K. My goal is uh, to grow my capital from 100K to 125K, something like that. That's okay, but don't overly focus too much on that, because you cannot control your P&L. And let's talk about your P&L. What I've seen, and I've coached a lot of people, in the Birb Nest, outside the Birb Nest, and talk with a lot of people. The moment people are identifying themselves with their P&L, meaning when the P&L is high, they're happy. P&L goes down, they're not happy. This tells you one thing, and that's this: something outside of your control is determining your well-being. It's determining your identity. It's telling you how to feel and how to think. You don't want that. You don't want to have something outside of your control, that determines how you feel and how you think and how you do and how you identify yourself. I think that's bad. Instead, have process goals. Write them down. Process goals. Process goals. Process goals. You have fully control all of them. Process goal could be increasing my TA knowledge by watching at least once in the week a TA video of one of our guys or someone else. It doesn't matter, as long as you do it, and reading 1 hour a book about trading, and charting, or back testing a system at least 1 hour a week. That's a process goal. You can fully control that. It's within your control. However, a P&L, it doesn't matter how good you are or how bad, you don't have fully control of your P&L. Yes, you can liquidate yourself, and then you go down, and then maybe you could say, yeah, I had some control over my P&L. But you get my point, right? You don't control your P&L, so don't let the way you feel and think be determined by something that's outside of your control, because that's stupid. Really, that's stupid. I felt for this fallacy. I felt for this mistake, and I want you guys to be different. So don't fall for this mistake. So before I'm going to leave you, yeah, okay, I promised some charts. Um, This is from Mark Douglas. So he says here, if you're unable to trade without the slightest bit of emotional discomfort, specifically fear, then you have not learned how to accept risks inherent in trading. And this is a big problem because if you haven't accepted the risk of trading, you will try to avoid them by breaking your rules or by deviating from good risk management practices. Um, let me check. So what have I promised you guys something, right? I promised charts. I will do that. A few seconds. Let's do, well, maybe a few minutes. Um, Wait, let me share my screen then. Add to screen. So quickly about Bitcoin, like the thing, like what I like now from Bitcoin is there is some bullish divergence, and we're not going. We broke support, right? Um, Here, this was support, and now it's here. This is the wick. We could go down below this wick. Could be possible. Everything is possible, of course. But let's think in probabilities. Let me disable this. So what I see is this, like this is Bitcoin, and actually what happened last year is we're actually moving from the yearly open. Where's the yearly open? Yeah, here. From yearly open to all-time high. So it's actually a big range. So it was actually moving from 30K up to 69K. For most people, that's not the ideal market condition, but you still can make a lot of money with trading, especially if you have proven system and you're disciplined, you have a good mindset. What I see is like on the weekly, what I don't like to see is um, like a confirmed lower low. Like if I see here a weekly candle here and then the next candle is also lower low, I don't think I don't like that because it can open the door to revisit 30K. That's possible, right? That's possible. So I just play now things level by level. Don't be too rigid in your directional bias. Try to be flexible. One of the charts I like a lot is, wait, let me find it here. Luna. We talked about it in the Discord. So I don't think this is a bad looking chart, especially on the weekly. It's like you always try to see things from the weekly. By the way, this is the only chart I'm going to show with you guys. So huge, massive upside. Right. The only thing I'm checking on the weekly is just price action, volume. It looks interesting. Then you go to the daily. So what do you see here? So this could be some form of resistance. It's still a huge, strong uptrend. And there's nothing wrong with buying things relative high, sell it potentially higher. So I'm a big fan of trading in reversals, to be honest. But there's nothing wrong with buying things high and then selling it higher if you think they are fundamentally strong, or if you think, oh wait, of course I already have the. So I think this looks pretty okay. What I would like to see is some form of bullish divergence or other confirmation. Could be like a MA, could use Birb Pro. Let me check. 50%. Let me check the 1 hour. So oh, this is not what I want. You see here that it's just hovering, like some form of consolidation. Nothing special is happening here in the green box. The Birb Pro signaled a potential trend change to the upside. Let me check. Yes, it's on default. That's interesting. So that could be like a trigger. So if I'm buying something or selling something, I need to have at least two triggers. That's what my system is telling me. If we're just hitting support, it's not a reason for me to buy. If we just hit resistances, for me, it's not a reason to sell or to short sell, I need to have at least two um, arguments to buy. You guys too. It's like you need to have your own trading principles. Otherwise, you will not make it. Um, One of my private mentoring students was also in Luna. I told him to sell here around this level because it was around the 1618 Fibonacci extension level, which is often a point where things turn, where things reverse. I'm glad he did that. So yeah, so I'm waiting here, waiting for a few candle closes, and then probably I'm going to buy this. So the safest way, like to buy this, is to wait for some confirmation. And this is a pretty impulsive wick, and I hate this wick because it I could open a trade and then putting my stop loss here. That's possible, but I rather prefer this wick. And the bigger the distance between your entry and stop loss, the lower your position size gets, actually, if you respect risk management. And I hope you understand this, guys, what I just said. If not, tell me, and I might do a live stream about trading psychology and risk management. So this gives you a pretty good 2.1 risk reward ratio. So for every dollar you lose, you earn $1. So if you risk $100, you can lose $100 but win $215. But I wouldn't take this as the final taking profits. Maybe here, maybe it's like a stop loss here, and I think this is wait for confirmation. Just don't buy now. I think it's stupid unless you have a system that tells you to buy now. The system could also be like this, for example, like if it breaks, like if you see a RSI breakout, for example. I'm just giving you an example, but you need to have at least like two arguments, but also two arguments that have worked for you for a while, and not just two random arguments. If this it's still in a downtrend, so that's why you need the confirmation. So you need to see some bullish divergence, some other support, some candle patterns, or so or whatsoever. You just need to have some good reasons to buy, because it's indeed in a downtrend, and Bitcoin also looks not really beautiful. Let me see. Why not? Let's maybe do next month a trading psychology and risk management video live stream. What I want you guys next time, I think this is the last thing, because I need to go. I need to have dinner with my wife. Is ask more questions about the topic I'm talking about. Otherwise, you will not learn. Ask questions and do something with the knowledge I just shared with you. Do something with it. Think about it. Just don't be that guy that just listens and then forgets and wasted his time. Be that guy that goes for progress and improvement. For the new guys, Birb Nest, we really love you. You guys are the best because you're so eager to learn. The guys outside the Birb Nest, I would say, why not try us out? Because there is a free trial. You can try us out, not for 1 day, not for 2 days, not even for 5 days, but just like 7 full days. What you can expect are calls, trade setups, educational content, and I think that should actually be our flagship. And people, they like calls and signals, of course. And we are also pretty transparent when it comes to our signals, because we write them down every month. We publish our win rates, the amount of trades we did, and so on and so on. So we are pretty transparent. So just like fill in your email address, your name or your fake name, nickname, doesn't matter, and receive your newsletter and get 7 days access to the Birb Nest. I think this is a no-brainer. I mean, if you don't like it, you get your money back. And that's nothing, because we don't charge you for the 7 days trial. It's really for free. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I really enjoyed your presence. I really enjoyed your questions. And I would say do something with what we have talked about. And yeah, let's meet the next time. Bye bye for now. Take care, guys. Stay strong.